Hello, my lovelies. Hello. Wow. Since 2 days I've posted videos, trust me. I just got to say, let me go on view. And I saw at least 7 views. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my god. Some people saw. And please, if you saw and you're happy about it, you can like, you can share, like I said, advice, help one another, help touch a sister, help touch brother, help touch a child, whomever the story might help. The advice, like I said, please share your thoughts about the cases. Please share your thoughts. The slightest thing you might say, you don't know whom you're helping. You might be like, oh, don't already know this, you already know that. We talk about it every day, but even it's an A that you know somebody might not know, you don't know. We don't know everything. You might think somebody knows everything, but we learn every day. So let me just jump into the case. I don't want the video to be too long. Every time I say I'm going to make a short video, at the end of the day I realize it's long. No, I'm going to try and keep it short. Well, this is the case about a surgeon, Johnny, Makeda, and let me see, Gloria as well. It's I could say it's physical, emotional abuse involved. Well, it all started when a commanding officer had called on the police to go do a welfare check on one of her surgeon because he was unreachable. She would text, no response. He would call, no response, and which is so unlike him. So the police got an address and asked if this said surgeon is living alone or married or something, and the commanding officer said yes, he's actually married, and she's tried to reach the wife as well, but they are unreachable. So the police quickly stormed into the house, like in half an hour. You know, he's a surgeon, they have to do it quick because this is a surgeon involved. And on getting there, no response. They had to call the house manager to come give them access to the house because there was no response. And in getting inside, everything was normal. There was nothing out of ordinary. And they were searching. And when they got upstairs, they realized bag of trash. A bag of trash that looks like a body in it. So not knowing who, it's actually because there are 3 people living in the house here. Johnny, the surgeon, his wife, and their baby 1-year-old son. So they didn't know who it was. And they had to open it to reveal who it was, and they realized it was Johnny. And immediately they start checking everywhere to see if there's the wife or the son found anywhere, and they couldn't. They tried to get hold of the wife family, close relatives, to see if something might have happened to them. This is Johnny dead, the surgeon, the man of the house is dead, and the family is nowhere to be seen. They were worried, like they don't know what might have happened to them. Are they in danger? Are they also dead somewhere else? So they were trying to get hold of them, but the family members were unreachable and and immediately they filed for a missing person report that the wife was missing. So, and the homicide detectives were called in, and they were looking around trying to get pieces of evidence, leads or anything, and they noticed there were splashes of blood everywhere on the walls, and they got what seems to be a smell of bleach, like whomever did this was trying to cover their track on by cleaning up. And looking further, they saw a handsaw on the kitchen shelf. This was coming more and more like a very personal attack or personal murder or something. This was rolling away burglary or something, and they realized the biggest knife on the knife shelves were also missing, and this made them to wonder, could this have been the murder weapon? Looking around the investigative homicide officers, they were like, this couldn't be a burglary because the whomever will come into steal or do something wouldn't have that time to want to clean up or want to use a handsaw to cut the body or want to like knife this person so many times, because there were knives wound everywhere on his body. It was such a brutal act or sin or whatever. So this left the homicide officers to investigators. Since there were no leads, they went to the neighbors to ask, the usual question like, with any unusual activities, anything they notice around, some sort of lead, to get to some sort of lead. And the neighbors were like, no, there were nothing strange. These are lovely couple. They say they do everything normal, like a lovely couple. There are no troubles or anything. But when asked about Makeda and her son, the neighbor actually said she hasn't set eyes on Makeda and her son for a couple of days. And this left police back to no lead. They had to go back to bring in the commanding officer who called to give the complaint about not seeing or not hearing from one of her most trusted surgeons for more than 24 hours. So she was brought in for questioning, or she was brought in for more information, and there she was being told they are sorry, they met Johnny dead in his home. Wow, she was shocked and in disbelief. She had no idea, and she was asked, does she know the usual question? Does she know if anybody would want to hurt Johnny? The usual police question to get a lead. And she said, no, Johnny was a sweet, loving father and a husband. She wouldn't even think of anybody who wants to hurt him, stuff like that. But before ending her interview, she said, but there's something that might be of help that she want them to know, which is Johnny had an extramarital affair. Yeah, Johnny was seeing some other woman, and they asked, could she happen to know this woman? And she said yes. The said woman was Gloria, and she was also working at the base. So this was a big lead for police officers. There could be a motive. This is a person of interest. And she was thanked and let to go. And they brought in Gloria to the police station. When Gloria got in, she just melted. She was so emotional. Even before she was being asked the question, she was so emotional. She said she couldn't believe everybody's talking about the dead. She can't believe this has happened to Johnny and everything. She was being emotional. This is somebody whom they have been having an affair. She came out clean. She said, yeah, they were having an affair. It's been going on for a couple of months. And she was being asked if Johnny's wife knew about the affair. She wasn't very concerned about it. She wasn't worried if Johnny's wife knew about the affair, because according to Johnny, their marriage was as good as over. They were kind of separated. And when he said, what do you mean? She said, well, they were separated, and Makeda happened to be staying at her mom's with the child, but there was an issue at her mom's, so she had a 1 month prior to the death, she had to move back to Johnny's place whilst looking for a new apartment. So that's the information Gloria had to give. But according to Johnny, they were as good as over, and they have been having this relationship a couple of more, and they got more involved, like they got more sexually involved and everything. So yeah, everything was hitting well. They were all good. Everything was fine. And Johnny said their relationship was a hot mess unlike what neighbors were saying. They were all good couples and everything, but they were always constantly fighting, constant arguments and everything. They were always something like, it was not all that picture perfect like some neighbors were saying. So this made police to the investigative the homicide to look more into the couple's profile, and they found out that their previous apartment where they were living before they got the baby, because when the when they met when they met together, when they were just single, just sorry, when they were just both of them without the baby, they were living in a previous small apartment. And when they got the baby, they now moved to a bigger apartment to accommodate the whole family. So they realized there were complaints made at this previous apartment, and they tracked down the neighbor who made this complaint and called the police, because they actually called the police and detained Johnny. They called this neighbor up, and this neighbor came and gave her own version. She was like, she always heard fighting in the house. There were always noise, or always quarreling and stuff like that. And she, being a concerned neighbor, she knew Johnny was hitting Markita, and that's why she called the cops on Johnny. But when Markita was approached, Markita was like, the neighbor mistook the noise and everything. There was noise from video games and stuff like that. That there was no issue with her and her husband. Everything was okay. But according to the neighbor, she always heard fighting and she automatically believed Johnny was hitting on Markita, his wife. But his wife always cover up for him and said everything was okay. But she didn't dig more into it. She didn't want to get involved, as the wife was saying everything's okay. So she's done her own part to call on the police, and they said everything was okay, and the wife said everything was okay. So she let low, and but for her, she knew Johnny was abusing his wife. Yep. So coupled with all of this, how Johnny and Markita actually met. They met in Germany, whilst Johnny was sent for a mission in Germany, and Markita was actually also in Germany. And Johnny was actually looking for love because he just got divorced from his previous marriage. Well, Johnny got married. His first marriage, he was quite early. He was really early. He got married, and he had a child as well. But given the fact the work or nature of his job, he was always traveling. He was always sent to different places and stuff like that. So this didn't really sit well with the wife, and got a divorce. After the divorce, Johnny was like lonely and was looking again for love and all that. And when he was sent to Germany for a mission, that's where he met Markita. And they stomach hit up, everything went well. And the couple, when his mission was done, like a year, when coming back to the States, he came back with Markita. Markita accepted to come back with him, and they tied a knot. And within a year, they welcomed that son. That's when all this love and everything, that's when all the mate and stuff, and all this was happening. Well, since as coming back to the point of the dead body that was being found, there's no great lead. They don't know where to look into. Wife and son nowhere to be found. Nobody's actually saying no weapon, nothing to look into. There were no leads, so they were more confused as what is happening. But they sure knew this was not actually the perfect couple picture that they were all painting. So they were just sitting in the office one morning, and there comes Markita with her arm on a sling and bruises all over her body and stuff. And they were all stunned, like, where have you been? We've been looking for you and all the stuff. She said, yeah, she knows. That's why she's coming now. And she was looking for the investigators involved with her husband's case because she actually knows who the killer of her husband is. And when she was asked whom, she said she did it. But she's not a killer. She did out of self-defense. And they were all sure like, okay, give us a story. What actually happened? This is where Makeda took them back to the start of their relationship. That, wow, Johnny has actually been abusive, physical on her from the start of their relationship. Johnny has always been physical, and each time he will say, oh, he's sorry, and they will go right back to their love and stuff. There is so much love. But each time Johnny will do that and hit her and stuff like that, what the neighbor was saying, confirming their constant fights, and what Gloria was also saying, saying their constant fights and all. But yeah, it confirms, it was saying that Johnny was the abuser. But things really got to a breaking point where she found out Johnny was actually cheating. She had it in her mind. She was suspicious of Johnny cheating, but she had no proof. But when Johnny lied that she was going for when Johnny lied he was going for a conference in New York, but she tensed something was not right because Johnny was not giving clear information about this conference, his location, who he was, or not picking up her calls, replying her text messages. So she decided to use a family tracker and realized Johnny was not actually where he was supposed to be. And she drew the line. I'm like, this is enough for me to know you are lying and cheating on me. So she patiently waited for Johnny to get back home. When Johnny got home, he confronted Johnny. I'm like, wow, I used the family tracker and I know you were not at New York where you're supposed to be. Where have you been? You've been cheating, blah, blah, blah. And Johnny got angry as usual and got physical on her. And Johnny actually choked her until she passed out. And when she woke up, when she was fine, Johnny apologized and started begging her again as usual. I'm sorry. And Johnny confessed everything. I was like, yeah, I'm in a relationship with Gloria, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna fix everything. I'm gonna stop the relationship with her. I'm gonna be with you and everything. I'm gonna make everything right by you and stuff, And Gloria thinking, okay, I want my relationship back. I want my husband back. There is nothing. If you promise you're gonna stop everything, then I'm gonna give you another chance. So while they were on this new trying to make their relationship work again, she came back home one evening and saw the places were all romantically prepared by Johnny, candles, stuff like that. And she was happy. She was like, you're steaming up stuff. And Johnny was like, yeah. So in the mood of the romantic moment, Johnny tried to get involved with her. And she was like, no, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. I really need to make sure you're done with your affair and I need to get back emotionally stable to have anything to do with you intimately. But Johnny was like, I'm not having this. You're my wife. Each time I want to have it, I can have it. There is no to an answer, always yes. And he was trying to force himself on her until to the point of when she was struggling, he was so hard that he pulled her arm to a level that he dislocated her elbow. That leads to why she was wearing a sling. And in that process of her fighting for her freedom, she now kicked Johnny off, ran for a taser that was on the bedside, on the table, on the head table, teased Johnny. And according to her, this instantly made the situation worse. It didn't stop Johnny. Johnny was instantly more angry and was like coming towards her and used a burning candle, one of the decorative romantic candle that he used, and threw it on her face and gave a burning that also show why there was a burning that side ear. So everything that she was saying was matching up like with the physical bruises all over her. It shows this was a woman that was actually bad, that she actually fought for her life. And during all that moment, all the heated moment, all what she was thinking of to get herself out of this place, this man has been abusing her physically. She has to get out. This is enough. She now reached for a knife at the bedside cupboard and stabbed the husband. And she was asked, how many times did you stab him? And she was like, she was in a moment of blur. She doesn't know. She can't tell and everything. And they were like, okay, this looked like really a self-defense coupled with all your physical wounds and everything and your arm only on his land. This looked like some woman was actually fighting for her life. And they were like, could you be nice enough to tell us where you dropped the murder weapon? And she did. She told them where she dropped it. And no big evidence to show she was a murderer or she was everything else her story matched, so she was acting on that side self-defense. So immediately the police now went in to retrieve the murder weapon and was looking into it. So before that, just to clarify her story, as the police always do, to know if there is somebody to you have a airtight alibi or witness, they call her family, and her family said the same thing. Johnny was an abuser. Every time they'll always say black eyes, marks on the daughter's body and stuff like that. They'll always know it's Johnny, but their daughter will always hide it up, try to make up a story, not just to make Johnny look bad. So the family confirmed everything Markita said, that Johnny was an abuser. And they were like, okay, this is actually self-defense, but they have to look into the murder weapon. Just before that, again, they call up on Johnny's family to come and give their own version, what they think about all of this. And when Johnny's family came, it was totally contrary to what Markita was saying. According to Johnny's parents, Markita was the abuser. Yeah? And they said they didn't just hear about it, they actually witnessed so many times where Markita will put her hands on the son when they have a grave argument. And sometimes they will even hear over phone calls when Markita is screaming and yelling at the back of the phone call. And they knew all the time Markita was the abuser. And they were like, okay, what about the police detention when police came and everything to their son at their old apartment? And they were like, well, that's Markita's fault because they had a heated argument again and the son was trying to leave the house as usual, and Markita was always on his way trying to block his way, and their son got heated, angry and put his hands, trying not to put his hands on the wife, trying to get out of the situation, but she wouldn't let him, so he did what he had to do. So they blame it on Markita. Markita was actually an abuser. Wow, this left police confused. Like one side is saying he's an abuser, and one side is saying she's an abuser. And sadly, Johnny is not around to give his own version of the story because he is dead. So that left police just one thing to look at the murder weapon. And then when they went through it, it didn't really sound right to them, because somebody was actually fighting for self-defense as such will not try to want to clean up her act or something. She might be acting the moment, call the police up to like turn herself in and be like, no, I was acting about I was trying to save myself and all that, not trying to clean up, hiding the murder weapon, running away for like 3 days before coming up. It shows you might have gone away and make a good story to come and tell later. And they found out receipts of Markita actually getting a teaser 2 days before the murder. And why would you be buying a handsaw if you didn't have any motive? And when the autopsy result came in, it shows Johnny was stabbed 121 times. Yeah, he was stabbed 121 times. That is a lot for somebody who was doing self-defense. That is someone was enraged, someone was angry, someone was angry at someone that needs to be really angry at you to give you more than 100 stabs. That's not someone who was acting out of self-defense. So the police were like, this is enough to give an arrest. You've got receipts of you buying a teaser, you having a handsaw to want to dislocate this, to want to cut down this man to pieces, you trying to cover up your tracks by wanting to clean up and stuff, and you disappearing for like 3 days before you come. You have This is so much intentional. It's not like something just happened at the moment. This is looks like something that you have actually sat and thought about it. You want to do. There are a lot of criminal things to like tie you to this crime, and they brought her in for that. She was arrested, and well, sadly, at the end, the judge, what they say, gave her a pity. The judge actually believed this was an abused woman. She was being abused, and they gave her a pity fair deal. She was sentenced for 10 years, but actually did serve just half of those years and got out, and she's actually free, which didn't sit well for Johnny's family because this was a great guy and everything. Because for this didn't just add well for police theory was all like that evening when Markita actually found out Johnny was actually going to leave him. Johnny asked him to leave because he found out Markita was not actually going to change. It was always going to be fight all the time. At one point of time, he got tired. And when he met Gloria, it was like, okay, this is somebody I'm having peace with. Let me go away. And when Markita found out, she wasn't taking that because she's always been someone who has been provided for. Remember, she was not working. Johnny was a breadwinner. She was just a housewife taking care of their daughter. She was always having the being provided for. She had no issue finance and everything, and she's realizing Johnny wants to leave her was not a good sign. So she was angry and had to take him away. If she was not having him, nobody else is. Well, that was police theory, but the judge didn't see that and found out that, well, Akida was a battered woman who was being abused, and they gave her a fair sentence, which she didn't even serve until 10 years. She got out. So, this is all about physical and emotional abuse. Like, we should, this abuse is, like I said, it's everywhere. Male, female, kids, it's everywhere. It's just that the male part of it is not pronounced. Like, men are being trained to be like, be a man, don't speak up, don't 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 say things, like they don't share their emotions. And this has made a lot of men who have been abused to sit quiet, and it continue going on and on before realizing it's so late, like Johnny, and he's dead. Please walk away from the beginning. It's always good to walk away. It's not like, it's normal fight, we always have it, and we come back to our love. There is love, or you be like, oh, there is a kid, let me just stay, stuff like that. Be able to walk away. And family members, if you know about any of your person who is being abused, physically, emotionally, or whatever abuse, try to keep an eye on them over and over. Don't let the abuser close to them, because you don't know what might happen in the rage of an argument or something. Anything can happen because an abuser can stab at any moment. Or like in this case, wanted to know that the man is going to, or the milk cow is going to leave her soon. She doesn't want that. Who is going to provide for her later? She was not happy with that. So let's try to look at these red flags from the beginning and get away and run as fast as we can. Let's run and run without looking back. Like, you have to be, don't be like, oh, I'm the man, she can't do something. You don't know what an abuser can do. You don't know at what moment they can stop. You don't know. So guys, that will be all for this storyline. Please share your thoughts on this, what advice you can give on this story, and Like I said, these are stuff that happens in our everyday life. That's why I love these topics. That's why I love to talk about it, because these are just one cases that I've investigated and spoken about. There are lots and lots and lots of more of same, or just some few changes that are happening, but same stuff. So you don't know, like I said, you don't know who you might be helping. Just an advice of A, B, C, D will help, go a long way to help. And if you like what you're listening, please like and share. Make sure it reach an ear reach an ear reach an ear, so we will all get to identify some of the situation and try to be safe, because that man Johnny is gone. The little boy of their 1 year old is left without the father, and the child again from previous marriage is also left without. We have two kids now left without a father. We have a man, we have a father and a mom who are left without the son. We have relatives, we have friends who have lost. So it's so much. It's so much of loss. Please share your thoughts. What advice you can give on a situation like this? Share your advice. Comment, like, share, whatever, if you feel touched or you feel like you need to help. Well, that'll be all for now, guys. I'll see you soon. Hope I improve in telling the stories, and so we can learn more and more and have more people to give advices. I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy I'm doing this. Love you all. Bye for now.